All right, saddle hunters, it's a beautiful day here in Florida. I'm about ready to start another saddle review, so stick around. We're gonna get right to it. All right, well, I got the box opened up here. Now, Jerry included a few other items that I'm gonna review at a later date, but they were all packaged in here together. So this is the Custom Gear Modifications, or CGM, Cobra saddle. This saddle, let me look at it here. Like I said, this is the Cobra. So this one has a webbing panel, and it also has an Amsteel belt. So just a quick disclaimer, I did not purchase the Cobra saddle. Jerry did send it to me so that I could perform this saddle review for you. I don't know anybody personally that works at Custom Gear Modifications, and I'm also giving this saddle away to one lucky winner. So due to that, I am able to give you a 100% fair and honest review. Basically, the King Cobra, guys can order the King Cobra, and that is a fully loaded Cobra saddle. So right out the gate, if you already know you want a fully loaded saddle, you're gonna order the King Cobra. This is the Cobra saddle, and it is very similar to the King Cobra. It just doesn't have the hard camo shell. All of them have this mesh, but the outer shell on the King Cobra is gonna be a camo shell. You're also gonna get the ADF Raptor buckle with the King Cobra, but there are a ton of options when you go to order a Cobra saddle. So the basic Cobra saddle starts at $225. Okay, now with all the options, you can go up to $280 for a fully loaded Cobra saddle. I also want to point out that the Cobra saddle is made in the USA. So anyway, let's get into this. A size 1 is up to a 36-inch waist, and anything over that is going to be a size 2. So just 2 sizes, keeping it simple. So some of the options, you can get a 1-inch webbing belt, you can get a 6mm rope belt, or you can get the Amsteel belt. So those are your options with the belt. The color options that you can choose from, you can get a standard, you can get ghost gray, desert, forest green, or even blackout. So there's a lot of color options as well. You can add molly to it if you want. You can add gear loops, which this has, and these are load-bearing gear loops. You can also add the camo shell, like I said. So those are some of the options while you're ordering. So let's get into more on this saddle. This one has the Amsteel waist belt, like I said. It is a floating waist belt. The friction hitch here, you can adjust where that sits once you have the belt on and tightened up and snugged up. It also has the Oplux rope bridge, and it's connected with Amsteel on both sides. It has dual adjustments. You can adjust the length on this side, or you can adjust the length on this side. Now it also has a poor man's ascender on this side. You can make one-handed adjustments on your right side. The bridge loops are just standard folded over webbing, and we'll test how well those bridge adjustments are, those pitch adjustments, once we get in the saddle. Now the saddle also comes with a patent pending bridge gap adjustment strap on both sides. You just raise up on that buckle, and that allows you to open the panel up. Based on your hips and your size, you can open or close that as much as you need to clear your hip bones and just dial in the comfort for yourself. So we'll test all this out. There are 3 rows of MOLLE. There's an upper row, there's a row just below that, and then there's a row across the bottom of the saddle. So this would be, when you're ordering, this would be considered your top strap, this would be your middle strap, and this would be your bottom MOLLE webbing straps. You can also order a forward MOLLE webbing strap, as well as the gear strap here, which, like I said, is load bearing. Now your leg straps, the leg straps, as I was starting to say, are G-hooks. These are fully removable from the saddle, where all you do is take the tri-glide out and you can fully remove your leg straps. And they do have keepers on them to hold all of your tag end here. Looks like there's plenty of material for guys with bigger legs. Now just above your leg strap tri-glides is the G-hook that allows this saddle to be in transport mode. This is found in the Sidewinder, the Cobra, and also in the King Cobra. So a very low profile when you have it in transport mode. Right now, let's put a tape on it. So you can squish it down to 4 3/4 inches. If it's just hanging there, it's probably closer to 5 inches. So if you unhook the G-hook and you open the saddle up, as you can see, it is a pleated saddle. Let's get a measurement on that as well. So that right there is 13 3/4, rough guess. So there you go, that's all the way opened up. And as you can see, that's pretty significant. So that's close to 20 inches there, just shy of 20 inches on my tape measure. It's not the perfect tape measure for this, but you can go from a no pleat, open at all, single panel, opening the top pleat by itself, and then opening the top and bottom and spreading this all the way out to 20 inches. That's pretty impressive. In addition to your gear loops here, there's some gear straps here on the bottom, one on each side of the saddle. And what that is for is when you're ascending or descending the tree, you can bring up climbing sticks. You would attach this to one of your sticks, and then you hook your sticks together, and as you're ascending, you can pop your sticks off and put them on the tree. When you get to your last stick, you just use your side release buckle here, and you just leave that attached to your stick. So pretty cool features there. Now your MOLLE does extend out, and there's an extra loop here. You also have your lineman's loops here, folded over webbing, nice and big. They hold their position really well. So there's a lot of options with the Cobra saddle. I will drop a weight on this saddle right here, and you're going to see what that is. I do have a redirect back band that Jerry sent me to test out, and I will probably be testing that with this saddle. So with that said, let's get out there, let's put this thing to the test. All right guys, so I wanted to walk around just a little bit and see how these leg straps felt when the saddle was in transport mode. I was curious to see if they would pull or not, and as long as you run them loose, there's no pull at all, it's totally comfortable. Okay, and I do have my dump pouch with all of my gear in it on this side, and I do have my roll pouch on this side, and I'll be one sticking. However, the Cobra saddle does come with gear straps, and I carried my sticks out here. I want to put that to the test as well since it's offered, and I will do my first ascent is going to be using the gear straps. All right, as you saw there, those gear straps work just fine. Takes a little getting used to, and I did it 2 times. Once you get a system down, I'm sure it will flow a lot quicker, a lot easier. But using those gear straps does work as an option for getting your sticks up the tree. All right, so now I have my climbing sticks put away. I'm gonna be one sticking, so let's get started. All right, been in the saddle for 7 minutes so far, and I'll start going over everything with you here in just a little bit. All right guys, I've been in the saddle for 1 hour and 35 minutes so far, and I've been completely comfortable in the Cobra. I took the redirect back band off, and I've been sitting in the saddle without it for quite a while now, and I've been completely comfortable. There are a lot of little adjustments you can make as needed. I really haven't even needed to make any. So let's get started. There are a couple sewn molly loops just for extra gear if you want to use them for whatever. I just tucked the tag end in here to kind of clean this up a little bit, so my tag end wasn't just hanging down. But anyway, let's test out how well the bridge slides through the carabiner. All right, it slides really nice, really easy to turn for shots. So really nice, smooth through the carabiner. Bridge length adjustments. It does have this tender on the right side, so shortening your bridge is really easy one-handed with that tender. Again, you preset your left side, you have your tender on the right side to fine-tune those length adjustments. Take your weight off, lengthen that out. That is really easy. Those Amsteel hitches slide out really easy. Let me loosen up this side for, take a little weight off here first. Loosen that bite up just a hair. Slides out really easy, just slid it out. Got a really nice now long bridge. So let's make bridge pitch adjustments up and down the bridge loops and see how they hold. Loosen that bite up just a hair. All right, so as you can see, I'm all the way up to the top. We'll see how that holds. That didn't slide at all. So that held really well. Let's slide it down to the bottom. Loosen that bite up just a hair. Really easy to move. All right, there, I'm all the way at the bottom. Let me move the other side. All right, I'm all the way at the bottom on both sides, so let's put some weight in it. Just a tiny bit of movement there, not a whole lot. It definitely changed the pitch of the saddle. I now can feel that pulling on that bottom webbing. So it does hold. It just slides up just a little bit as it's biting. So you lose about an inch, inch and a half here, about 2 fingers. The back of the panel is loose. There's no pull at all on my my hips here, my hip bone, which is right here. So there's no pull at all on my hip bones, which is really nice. There's no hot spots where it's pulling in nice and tight. Now the bridge gap adjustment straps here, those are also really nice in the sense that you can separate that out and change the pull where it distributes the pull. If you want to open that up a little bit, or if you want to avoid a certain area on your hips and you want that pull to be smaller, all you have to do is cinch that up, and now it just changed. The pull areas are much smaller now. I kind of opened it up about halfway, and that's been super comfortable. As I was ascending the tree with my 3 sticks and my lineman's belt, the lineman loops are nice and stiff, really easy to clip into. Your molly loops are sewn really tight. I did have to take a screwdriver and shove through these traditional style molly attachments. Now on the other side with my tri-glides, I also had to take a screwdriver and push them through and pull them out through the top. They are really tight, but once you have your gear set up on them, there's no movement at all. They hold really solid on here. They're in a good location. You can look down and see right inside your pouches. The leg straps up in the tree are really comfortable. I have them really loose. Once you get up into the tree, if you want to tighten those up, it's easy to do. All you got to do is pull the slack out and tighten those leg straps up if it makes you feel more comfortable having those a little tighter. Now I did loosen up the waist belt once I got into the saddle and put some pressure into it. That allowed the panel to slide down just a hair for me and was much more comfortable than being up on my hips as I was ascending the tree with my lineman's belt. I put my lineman's belt on and loosened up the waist belt a little bit, and it's just been loose since I've been in the saddle. So I think we pretty much covered everything here. The lineman loops, the molly loops, the leg straps, the bridge sliding through the carabiner. Bridge length adjustments are really easy to make. Jerry also included the poor man's ascender here on the right hand side to assist. That works really well. Bridge pitch adjustments, you are able to make adjustments all the way up and down. Very little slip at the very bottom, but it doesn't change the fact that it makes those adjustments, and I could feel those adjustments. The bridge gap strap adjustments here work really well. It allows you to change how wide or how narrow you want the sides of your bridge to be. Now I've ran it mostly in the full open position. I opened the pleat all the way up on the bottom and all the way up on the top, and I've been completely comfortable. I had it open on just the top and left the bottom one closed at first, and then I wanted to test it out being fully open, and I've been comfortable both ways. It's a really comfortable saddle. All right, so let me share just a couple things that with this specific Cobra I would change. There's nothing wrong with the functionality. It's just a preference thing for me. I would change this rope belt to the tubular webbing with the ADF Raptor buckle. On my way in, I did have this rope belt pulling into my hip bones and causing some pain. I like metal-free options, but I think I would prefer to go with the tubular webbing with the Raptor buckle. I generally don't have an issue with those digging into my hips. That's just a personal preference. Absolutely nothing wrong with this, and if you like the metal-free options, this is definitely functional. The waist belt does not slip at all, and the floating channel does allow you to position it wherever you want that hitch to be, and that's kind of nice. All right guys, if you made it to this point of the review, I am giving the Cobra saddle away on March 15th. All you have to do to be entered in the drawing is drop a comment below and you're entered in. I do ask that you please check the comments on March 16th and see if I've sent you a comment about contacting me via my email. I'm having a hard time getting rid of some of the saddles that people have won. I've tried to give one of them away 2 times. I've still not heard from the winner. Please put a note in your calendar or something to check the comments on March 16th, the day after the drawing, to see if I've commented to you that you won the saddle. If you live within the United States, I will cover the cost of shipping. If you live outside of the US, I do ask if you are the winner that you cover the cost of shipping. Now, I do want to point out one thing. When I'm reviewing a saddle, like the Cobra saddle, that has tons of ordering options, I'm only reviewing the options that were provided to me for the review. The rope, Amsteel rope belt that was on the Cobra saddle that I reviewed was digging into my hips on the way out to the tree and then on the way back, and it was causing some pain. However, you have to take into consideration I'm running dump pouches that are loaded with my gear. If you're a minimalist and you don't have very much stuff in your dump pouches, or if you prefer to run all your gear in a backpack, you're not going to experience that pulling on your hips like I was. I just prefer to run my gear in a dump pouch. That doesn't mean the rope belt is an issue, so keep that in mind. Since I run all my gear in my dump pouches, I would prefer to just pay the upgrade and get the webbing belt with a buckle. That's how I would run it. The Cobra saddle is an awesome saddle that has so many options, but I just wanted to point out, just because I have maybe 1 or 2 things that might be cons for me does not mean it's a con for you, and it doesn't mean that it is an overall negative for the saddle. So I just want to point that out. Outside of that, let's get back to the review. The other thing that I don't think is extremely necessary is the extended loop here from your molly webbing. I would probably eliminate that. To me, it just kind of gets in the way when you're using your lineman's loops. I'm sure they could be very helpful if you have a purpose for them, but me personally, I don't see a need in these, so I would probably tuck these away and not even use these and get those out of the way and just kind of clean this up a little bit. As far as the functionality, I've been extremely happy with the Cobra saddle. I know generally speaking I'm only testing the saddles for an hour, maybe maybe a little longer. But right now I'm in the saddle going on 2 hours, and I've been completely comfortable. If you guys want to see exactly how the Cobra saddle compares to all the other saddles I've reviewed, make sure you check the link in the description, and that'll take you to my spreadsheet. It'll have all the pros and cons as well as my overall comfort rating. Well, if videos like this are helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up, maybe subscribe to the channel if you feel I've earned it, and hit that bell notification for more videos like this. Now drop me a comment below. I would love to know what your thoughts are on the Cobra saddle. But most importantly, I hope you get out and enjoy your own adventures. Take care.